This is Leave Your Mark. I'm Vince Cortese, and today's guest is Summer and Jude Elkin. They're both professionally trained and competitive dancers.
Hi there, and welcome. Now it's time for America's favorite podcast, Leave Your Mark, with your host, Vince Cortese.
If it's fly, loose fitted, it's Cortese. If freezing, chubbers in it, it's Cortese.
Leave Your Mark is about inspiring the world, one guest at a time.
Pass the word from Brooklyn to Pittsburgh, from urban to suburb, it's Cortese, you heard?
And here is our host, Vince Cortese.
But before we get into that part of their story, Summer, I would like for you to share with our audience where you're born and raised and the beginning of life.
Okay. I was born in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, but I was raised in Montgomery, Alabama, from the age of 9 until I was 18. And my family still lives there.
Now, after you're in Alabama, now your mom, Steve Black, and your mom, Susan, dad was a superintendent in construction, and your mom was co-owner, and she kind of did the utility. She filled in doing all the duties that were necessary to keep the business running. So it's an interesting combination, mom and dad working together. So you have one brother and one sister, Stephen and Samantha.
Yes.
And it sounded like you had a faith-filled, very nice childhood. You said you went to church 3 times a week. That's very interesting.
Yes.
And share with me a little bit about what childhood was like.
Childhood was good. It was good. My parents were married until I was 10. I was 10 years old, and then they divorced, and I had a new stepfather and a new sister very soon after that. And in a lot of ways, my family just grew, but it was a rough transition period, but after that, it was wonderful. And dance was always a big part of my life from the time I was very young till, I remember being in kindergarten and already being obsessed with dance. So
this is very, very interesting because at that age of 10, you're just real tender for such a heavy emotional experience. So as we listen to more of your journey, we can see how it helped form who you are. So right away, you're interested in dance. So at the high school level, you're doing dance. You like books and traveling. I like this is Disney World, being down there, and all things psychology.
Yes.
So you come out of Alabama Christian Academy in Montgomery, Alabama, and you graduate and you go on to Lipscomb University. So at age 18, you're in Nashville now. And share with me what happens in life at this point.
Well, I was not very successful in school. I had unmanaged ADHD at the time, and wasn't doing very well. And I was still dancing, taking classes, and also doing projects and some jobs. And Vanderbilt dance team, I was doing that. And I answered an ad in a paper that was looking for dancers and to train them ballroom so that they could teach it to their students. So I answered that ad, and it really changed the course of my life because I fell in love with it.
Well, it sounds like the expression of dancing and the level of emotions that you went through at such a young age, this was really deep rooted in you. So can you share with me when you really knew that it was your internal passion, that how that you were allowing that emotion and what life was giving you to pass through your dance? Because when we see some of your film work and what you do, you're absolutely fantastic.
Thank you very much.
And you can see that you feel the movement besides performance. So share with me how this began to take root.
I remember being, like I said, in kindergarten, I remember seeing Grease, and the next day we had nap time at school. And I remember, I don't think even Jude knows the story, but I just remember laying on my little mat and just being so antsy because I couldn't get the song out of my head, and I just wanted to get up and dance. I always felt like that when I came home from school. If I didn't have dance class, which, there were some years my parents couldn't afford for me to take class that year, I would just come home and turn on my radio and dance and put on my cassette tapes. I loved it. I always knew. I always knew it was what I was going to do.
It was your calling right away. Now, any
No doubt,
specific kind of music that you were dancing to?
Oh yeah, I definitely, I loved Michael Jackson, Bad, Janet Jackson, that Control album. I had that one. Tiffany. Yeah, I loved pop.
No, you were ready to go. So, I mean, now you come out and you're going to, after your leave Lipscomb, 2 years later, you answer this, you're ballroom teaching all over, and then you wind up as in Miami and you go out and you're a Miami Heat cheerleader.
Yes, yes.
Now, this is an enormous goal for a lot of young women that enjoy dance like yourself. So, I mean, little braggadocious, you go from the Heat over to the Falcons. So you've done NBA as well as NFL. And again, both trophy positions for women in your category. So share with me the motivation to try out, and what were some of the things you put yourself through that helped you get on the team?
Oh, that's a good question. I had gone to Miami through Ballroom, been down there to perform, and I fell in love with the city. I'd never been before. And I remember within being there maybe a day, I said, I'm going to live here one day. So I got into a place in Nashville where opportunities were coming my way. And so I decided I wanted to try something different. And it sounds crazy, but it was that show, The Bachelorette with Trista Sutter. It was the first year it had come out, and she was a Miami Heat dancer. And I had seen it on TV, and I saw that and I thought that would be fun. I should just go try out. I just decided one day, because I was like 21 years old, and I went down there. I scheduled a flight, went down there for the auditions. It was a week-long process, and it was supposed to be after a week that they were going to narrow it down to like 50 girls and then make us go through a whole nother week of boot camp. But after that first week, we got there for that day of cut downs, and they said, we've decided who our top 20 are. And I was so shocked that they called my name. So the next thing I knew, I was moving to Miami.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Co-creating your life there. That's exciting. You had a vision and then you saw it through. That's very brave and courageous of you.
Connect with us on LinkedIn. Be our friend on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Whether jumping out the MP or jumping on the app.
You are listening to Vince Cortese. We just want you to leave your mark.
Now, after this window of being at the Miami Heat and the Atlanta Falcons, what happens next in your life that really impacts you?
My final year that I was with Atlanta, my father was diagnosed with brain cancer, and he was 50 years old. He was very young. It was, very sudden. He just had a seizure at work, and we found out a few days later that he had brain cancer, and they gave him 9 to 15 months. So, and he lived exactly 15 months. It was very important part of my life, and a difficult time, but I learned a lot through it.
Did he go through in that small window of a lot of treatments, or
Yes,
was he in pain and some of that kind of experience?
he was initially. There was a lot of pressure on his brain, and I remember before that first surgery where they went in to remove the tumor, he was in a lot of pain. I remember him holding his head. My dad never complained, nothing. So I knew if he seemed like he was in pain, he must really be in pain. But he had his first surgery, and they were able to get it all. But
metastasized.
Yes.
So then he lost his battle with cancer. Now, moving forward, where do you go from here?
Yes. Well, that was, as anyone knows who's lost someone close to them, it was definitely a hard time after that. I was dating my current husband off and on. It was difficult me moving as much as I was. So our relationship, we would date and then not date because I was moving all the time. So we kind of got back together after my father passed, and I moved back to Nashville for a little bit.
Okay, now he's also a ballroom dancer.
Yes, he is.
You
Mhm.
said it's a studio owner, or he
Yes.
was in charge of
Mhm.
competitions, or both?
Yes, both. Yes, he's a world champion ballroom dancer, and now owns a few studios and competitions. Yes.
Now I have to ask, was he your partner?
For a short time, yes, for a short time.
Okay, he's not your partner now?
Well, in life he is, but
Oh,
he
okay.
doesn't dance anymore.
Well, I'm gonna say,
He's
he's a
retired.
ballroom dancer, you're a dancer, you're figuring this is a perfect match here.
Yes, no, yeah.
So well, this is exciting. So now you go on and you're doing this studio, and you get married,
Yes.
and shortly thereafter, the gentleman in the video there, we got to bring him up. How you doing,
Yes.
Jude?
I'm good.
Now this guy shows up, so share with me. He comes on the scene. This is life changing. You got your own child, and you're
Yes.
married, and life's taking full bloom here. So how did things progress? You're dancing, her husband's dancing.
Yes. Well, I mean, Jude grew up from the time he was, tiny in a car seat, going to the studio every day. So he was around it. And he was always dancing, and that was just, it's what we did all the time. He saw it all the time. So he was always moving. If there was music on, he was moving. I have so many videos of him as a baby and a toddler, always dancing. So when he was old enough, when he was 4 years old, I enrolled him into a wonderful studio in our community. Not ours, because ours is ballroom, but his is a kid's studio. So
What type of dancing is he known for?
Jude does mostly hip hop dancing, but he also does jazz and contemporary, a little bit of tap and ballet.
That's pretty diverse. He's a young fella. When's he get the time to do all that?
I know, right? They work hard. They really do. So I'm glad he enjoys it, because
Now, how do you enjoy, Jude? How do you enjoy your dancing?
It's really fun.
Now, was this something that you felt you wanted to do, or was it because mom and dad were doing it, you wanted to jump in there, or there was no pressure in that? It was something that you want to do yourself?
Well, I've always loved dancing, and it's just kind of something that I've always wanted to do.
It's in the DNA, Mom.
It is. It is.
So now how you get going and you get in there. Now you're doing some competitions. You're on a dance team. And you're currently going to be stepping into the holiday. You're going to be on a Lifetime Channel's television, a Christmas special. This is exciting. So how did all of this stuff started happening for you?
Well, with the movie, because of my studio, we have a lot of great teachers there that are like very connected with a lot of famous people, and we get a lot of opportunities to do special jobs and movies and stuff.
Now, I saw you were on a couple videos on YouTube. Now, how does that work out for you to get on videos like that?
Well, basically the same thing with how I get into movies. My mom runs an Instagram for me, and we can post some videos of me dancing.
Now, I saw you have an Instagram channel, so this is very exciting. Now, do you think in the future you'll be dancing with your mom, or or do you have somebody special in mind you'd be pair dancing with yourself?
Mostly myself.
Mostly yourself, okay. Well, what I want to do is I want to ask you, Summer, like, what was your life like before you realized that dancing was going to be a big influence in it?
Well, there really was never a time that it wasn't. So I always knew. I feel that I've always felt that I'm very lucky and fortunate to know that dance was good. I felt like my purpose. I knew what it was I was going to do my whole life.
It
So
was like a finding of yourself.
If you are listening from Australia, Florida, or just from around the corner,
East Coast to West Coast outlets, if you're not into the dirty South straight, make a left and body.
contact us. Leave your mark with your host, Vince Cortese.
So what would you say is the most important thing you've learned from dancing?
me or Jude? I would say that I've learned from dancing. That's a good question. I would say just the road of dance. There are so many goals that I've had that I've been able to eventually accomplish or reach toward. And I think it's taught me a lot about not giving up and really sticking with something. Working hard at something will eventually many times bring you what you're looking for and helping you to accomplish a goal.
It sounds like it was very therapeutic. So would you say there was times that when life was a bit more emotional, you either wanted to dance more or less? Did it affect you like that?
Completely. Yes. Dance has been such a wonderful, it's, just dancing, it gets your adrenaline going, it gets your endorphins going. It's such a wonderful release and an expression of emotion. And I can't tell you how many days I've had where I was driving toward the studio and maybe I got bad news or just wasn't in a good mood. And for whatever reason, and I end up leaving feeling just so good and feeling wonderful. It can completely change how you feel and change your day. It's gotten me through a lot for sure.
And kind of now here, I have to ask because you're a professional. So having been in front of the live audiences, like with your pro football and basketball, how does it feel when you're dancing now, not for yourself, but now you're entertaining and you have a live audience responding to what you're doing? Can you share with me what that feels like when the people are responding to you? Jude, you can answer that one too after Mom does, because I think in that line of being a dancer or being an entertainer dancer, that's probably the best feeling you could have.
Definitely. I would say I would consider myself more of a shy person, a little more introverted, but being on stage it's pretty doing something that you absolutely love and that is so joyful is wonderful. But getting and seeing the feedback and seeing how, that it brings other people joy, makes them happy, and hearing their comments and seeing their applause is just a very fulfilling feeling. So it's very fulfilling. Yeah. How about
Jude,
you?
how do you feel when you perform in front of the live audience?
Well, I feel really great because I'm doing something that I love to do, and then just trying to make people happy just makes me feel really great and accomplished.
That's awesome. Well, I have to ask you, how would you like to leave your mark with using your dance career and your entertainment to help yourselves through life and bring happiness to others? I'm curious to hear.
I would say with my dancing, I think that I'd like to leave my mark on people, for people to feel that I brought them joy, that they were entertained, that they could see the joy that it's brought me, and that I am using my ability to the fullest, and that the talent that God gave me is being utilized.
That's amazing, Mom. All right, Jude, you want to share that one with me? When it's all said and done, you got a lot of dancing ahead of you, a lot of shoes to wear out there, young man. What would you like to leave as your mark after people saw you dance?
That's a tough question.
That's a loaded question. He wasn't ready for that. That's okay. We'll revisit him in another 10 years, and I'm sure I have plenty to say.
I'm sure. Yeah.
That was good. Well, I want to thank you for coming by, Summer. I appreciate you sharing your story.
Thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Now, do you have any social medias or any areas that you want to direct to our audience to that they can find more about you?
My Instagram is Summer Elkin, and Jude, yours is?
It's Jude Freestyler.
Jude Freestyling. Okay, we'll be looking for you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming by.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Leave Your Mark today. Tune into our next episode of Leave Your Mark with Vince Cortese. Be blessed.
You just left your mark. Thanks for listening. Listen to more episodes on demand. Just click Leave Your Mark with Vince Cortese.